technologies or space technologies. And of course, the human mind, psychological warfare is happening all the time, also towards NATO countries. So, Mr. Secretary General, my question is that how you evaluate how well NATO as an alliance is currently keeping up this accelerating technological development. Thank you.
Thank you so much. First to Serbia, let me start by saying that I don't think it's helpful to keep on using these terms like you said, regime in Pristina. I mean, it doesn't work. I think Serbia is the biggest country in the Western Balkans. We need your leadership in all of this. So please, can I suggest you refrain from that type of rhetoric? And I know you have your issues with Pristina, but let's just phrase it a bit more neutral would be my suggestion. That as a sort of start to my reaction. I have very good contacts with Alexander Vučić, the president. He visited me in March. That was after I was in Sarajevo and in Pristina the week before. And we discussed at length also the role Serbia can play to make sure that we de-escalate the tensions in the Western Balkans. And again, like the United States is the leader in the world, Serbia is by far the biggest country in the Western Balkans. And therefore, we look for you and to you for leadership and being able to do what is possible to de-escalate tensions. We also discussed clearly the accountability questions on what happened in Banjka and other events in 2023. I think that is important. And when it comes to KFOR, it plays a very important role to make sure stability remains in Kosovo, in the region. We will never announce, let's say, the posture of KFOR, whether it will go up or down or whatever. We don't want to make anyone wiser than he is. But you can rest assured that we will do everything as an alliance to make sure that KFOR has what it needs to be of maximum use. But please, again, I also count on Serbia to play a positive role, and I know in many cases you do. But we need to see more of that to de-escalate the tensions in the Western Balkans, but also particularly when it comes to Kosovo and, of course, Bosnia. Then to the Estonian question. Yes, well, listen, before Donald Trump became president, there was no breaking of the deadlock. So let's start by acknowledging that it was him, and I really want to thank him for that, by starting that debate, making sure that we move beyond, of course, continuing giving Ukraine what it needs in intelligence support and military support to stay in the fight and to be in the strongest possible position, but also to break that deadlock with the Russians. And he was the only one who could do that, being the president of our biggest ally, the United States. And then, of course, what we then are saying, oh, but we wanted to go faster. But I mean, he is now president for 3 or 4 months. This war is ongoing now for 3 years. And at the end, we also have to respect, I think, his role in all of this, and that he has to make that calculation when the time comes to take next steps with Ukraine and where necessary against Putin if he is not helpful, etc. But really, I would urge all of us to respect also his role here and the fact that it doesn't work to constantly put pressure on the Americans, say you need to do this and that, knowing that before the 10th of January there was absolutely no discussion ongoing with the Russians. And again, I'm happy that he started that. And as I said about the summit, I clearly hear all the requests. It's up to me to make sure we have a program which is as useful as possible. It will be a very concise summit. It will be much more like London 2019 than Brussels 2018. So really very much focused when it comes to the content debates. But as soon as the program is published, you will see how we will deal with some of these questions. Of course, United Kingdom, this is really what the summit is about. It is about the money, it's about the defense industrial output, and it is about making sure that Ukraine has what it needs to stay in the fight and to have that long-term commitment to Ukraine. And again, what happened last 48 hours, or 72 hours, 48 hours, last 2 nights, these indiscriminate drone attacks and missile attacks on innocent civilians. I mean, this is not attacking defense bases or airports or whatever. No, these are attacks on cities and innocent civilians going about their lives, losing their loved ones. And I find this terrible, and it shows you that Russia at this moment is absolutely not serious of taking next steps. I think that's what you.
जर इतकी परफेक्ट बाल्कनी आहे तर सेलिब्रेट तर करायलाच हवं. प्रत्येक लहान मोठ्या प्रयत्नाने होतो दिवस चांगला. Amazon, प्रत्येक दिवस चांगला.
स्ट्रायकर, सर्वात आधी तू रात्री बरोबर 9 वाजता संपूर्ण एरियाची लाईट कूल करशील. काही तासांचा पॉवर बॅकअप संपला, मग कमाई सुरू. पॉवर कुठून आली?
ओ काया
स्ट्रायकर 6 तासानंतरही
ओकायाचा XBD आणि CBH इन्व्हर्टर आणि बॅटरी कॉम्बो ते पूर्ण 6.5 तासाचा पॉवर बॅकअप. जास्त बॅकअप, जास्त लाईफ.
Future, but clearly working as interconnected as possible, and from a design point of view, designed in conjunction, not AI as a layer over it, but really being integral to the whole design of these next generation big ticket items like the fighter jets and our tanks, etc., and also when it comes to our capabilities at sea, and I think that's the real lesson. And when I spoke last night, before we had our dinner with the lady who is flying the F-35, which was there on display, I was really impressed. Also from her to learn that she was an F-16 pilot before. Now she's flying the F-35, and she said the big difference is that the F-16 was fantastic, but the F-35 is really the next wave. And it's not only flying the plane, it's also making use of all the information coming in from all the various sources, which is F-30, and that's why you have this deep vision into enemy territory, etc. And that will only grow with the 6th generation, with AI coming on board and with quantum computing. So I guess that there is reason to believe that there will be a sort of fusion between the traditional defense industry and these latest technologies, and I think it's crucial that we design them in conjunction and not doing the one first and then have as a sort of let's now put the AI in, but do it from a design point of view as much hand in hand. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This last question allow us to conclude with our eyes on the future, which is an interesting thing. Thank you, Mark, for your informative questions. It was nice to have you with us. I think it was the first time you came here as Secretary General. You already have been here as Prime Minister of the Netherlands once, some years ago. I was not here. We hope to see you on our next session. I was reprehended by our Secretary General because on our bilateral meeting, I forgot to invite you to the reception we are offering on the 19th of June in our headquarters. It will be a pleasure for us to have you there, just to have a drink and take some photos. Okay, no work, just a drink on the 19th, because we will have the summit in Brussels. It will be a pleasure to have you on the 19th to have a drink with us. Thank you. We'll just let Secretary General to get out, and we'll follow our works. Well, colleagues, thank you very much. It was a very interesting exchange of questions and answers. Almost everybody was able to ask the questions. Some were not allowed to do it because of schedule, but I think everybody can be satisfied with the program. We start now with the draft declaration on taking NATO deterrence and defense to the next level at the Hague Summit, as amended at the Standing Committee here in Dayton. I call Agnes Vadai, Vice President of the Assembly, to present the draft declarations. Agnes, please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Marcus. Thank you, Mr. President. Before I start on the serious stuff, let me have a personal note. I'm really grateful to our President to have this task assigned to me. It was a real good experience for me. Thank you very much for all the delegations who had amendments and helped me to figure out the best way to have these amendments. And of course, I would like to thank our colleagues at the International Secretariat who really worked hard in the past months and also in the past hours to have an amendment which is going to reflect to the summit in Hague. Dear colleagues, in just a few weeks, NATO heads of state will meet in The Hague for an exceptionally important summit. It will provide a crucial opportunity for NATO allies to project unity and resolve. Together, as we know, we must strengthen NATO so that it remains the essential bulwark defending the security of Europe and North America. At this critical juncture, our Assembly has an essential role to play by supporting the difficult decisions that are needed to ensure, one, that we step up to face the challenges of today and tomorrow, and of course that we rebalance the responsibilities within NATO. The declaration puts forward a set of concrete, robust recommendations. Let me mention some. The Hague Summit should reaffirm our shared vision of the strategic environment as laid out in the 2022 strategic concept. It must reaffirm our support for Ukraine because this is where the future European and world order is being decided. Third, we need a fairer transatlantic burden sharing. This is what I call the new transatlantic deterrence initiative. We need a new robust defense investment pledge well beyond 2%. The European Union, we all know, can help, and we must make the best out of the NATO-EU synergy. Fifth, we must urgently develop our industrial base, and we need a rapid adoption action plan to take back the lead in new technologies. And last but not least, we must agree a revised strategy for countering autocrats, hybrid warfare, and we must continue to press for the establishment of a Center for Democratic Resilience at the headquarters, even if it seems difficult and even if it's sometimes not that pleasant to the leaders of NATO. This is important. Democratic values are important to us, and to help our citizens to defend these democratic values themselves, it's an obligation of all members of Parliament. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Agnes. Does anyone want to speak in general about the draft declaration? I see no requests of the floor. So, Agnes, would you like to present the amendments that were proposed to the draft declaration?
Yes, thank you, Marcus. There were 7 proposals that were handed in before the deadline, and 3 of them are accepted, 1 is rejected, and for 3 I have counter proposals, but I go one by one. I hope everybody had the documents. I move all the amendments so that it wouldn't be a problem, but I will say my opinion. The first amendment is handed in by Mr. Azubalis and some co-sponsors. Here I have a counter proposal. And my counter proposal will be to reiterate the strategic importance of the Black Sea region for transatlantic security, continued support to allied regional efforts aimed at upholding security, safety, stability and freedom of navigation in the Black Sea region, including as appropriate through the 1936 Montreal Convention, as well as strengthen NATO's posture and regional readiness along the eastern flank from the Black Sea to the Baltic Sea. So this is my counter proposal.
I heard that Mr. Azubalis accepted your counter proposal.
Yes.
So maybe we can vote it immediately, the amendment, unless any of the colleagues. Jesse Clever, please. No? Oh. You're always ahead. You're already voting. So we can vote the amendment as with the counter proposal proposed by Agnes. So all those in favor of the amendment? Thank you. All those against? Abstentions? Okay, the proposal was approved.
Thank you so much. Amendment number 2, Mr. Azubalis and other co-sponsors. I have a counter proposal here, which was agreed by Mr. Azubalis, and that would read, paragraph 18 would read, welcoming allies and NATO's strengthened response to these authoritarian powers' campaign of hybrid operations targeting allies, saluting in particular the prompt launch of the Baltic Sentry and establishment of NATO Task Force X to strengthen the protection of critical infrastructure in the Baltic Sea, including against the Russian Shadow Fleet.
I also have the information that Mr. Azubalis accepted your proposal. Does anyone want to speak about the proposal of this amendment number 2? Okay, then we can vote. All those in favor? Thank you. All those against? Abstentions? The proposal was approved. Agnes, please.
Thank you. Amendment number 3 by Mr. Azubalis is accepted by me.
It's amendment number 3, which is adding something to adding self-determination. After the word self-determination, delete remainder and insert including its irreversible path towards full NATO membership on paragraph 4. All those in favor? All those against? Abstentions? The amendment was approved. Agnes, please.
Thank you. Amendment number 4 by the delegation of Serbia, where they would like to remove a certain part. The governing authorities in Republika Srpska are currently playing a negative role in Bosnia-Herzegovina. This part they want to, I have to find the wording, but you have the wording. So they want to remove a certain part that refers to Republika Srpska. This amendment I reject.
Anyone wants to say something about this amendment? Yes, Dragici, please. 1 minute. 1 minute, please.
We have submitted this amendment because we believe that such qualifications do not contribute to the implementation of the Dayton Peace Accord, and it is against our effort to achieve sustainable peace on the Balkans.
Thank you. Do you want to react, Agnes? Or it's...
Yeah, this whole Dayton meeting of ours and of a border meeting is exactly for unity. And we see certain, I would say, actors in the region who are not aiming at unity, rather they want to, for their own personal or for, we don't know what kind of interest, but we might guess, tear apart Bosnia-Herzegovina. We don't want that. That's why we want to put here in our resolution that we have to respect the sovereignty, the territorial and the functional integrity of Bosnia-Herzegovina. And we must make a very clear stand for that because we have seen different events and different actions from certain actors in the region. So this is not against anybody, it's just to make sure that everybody understands this alliance and of course the United States of America, which played a very important role in putting together the Dayton-Paris Peace Accord, has an eye on the region and makes clear we stand for a united Bosnia-Herzegovina.
I agree with the rapporteur. So let's vote the amendment that the rapporteur recommends that we should reject. All those in favor? All those against? Abstentions? Thank you. It was rejected with one abstention. Agnes, the next amendment, please.
Thank you very much. The next amendment is number 6 that was presented by the Turkish delegation, which made, and thank you very much, Mr. Çavuşoğlu, and, oh yeah, sorry, 5. Okay. I want to be over with it. Yeah.
Number 5.
Sorry.
For Mr.
Amendment number 5, presented by Mr. Azubalis and co-sponsors. Here we have a counter proposal to have it, let's say, a more precise wording. So our proposal would be to reinforce NATO's posture in the Baltic Sea region, including by strengthening the air policing and Baltic Sentry missions towards a credible forward defense posture aligned with NATO's new force model. We had a discussion with Mr. Azubalis before he left, and he agreed to this wording.
Thank you. So can we vote? Okay, all those in favor? All those against? Abstentions? The amendment was approved unanimously. Agnes, now number 6.
Yeah, Amendment 6, and then once again, let me repeat, and thank you very much to the Turkish delegation and the head of Turkish delegation, Mr. Çavuşoğlu. It is to make more precise what we mean by the freedom, safety, security, stability, and freedom of navigation. And there is a reference in the amendment to the 1936 Montreal Convention, and I accept this amendment.
Thank you. Can we vote? All those in favor? Thank you. All those against? Abstentions? The amendment was approved unanimously. Now,
Amendment number 7 was presented by the Swedish delegation. What they would like to see in this particular point is to keep up pressure on Russia by backing the ramping up and effective enforcement of sanctions against it and its accomplices, particularly on the oil and gas sector, including the Russian shadow fleet, as well as the banking, the metallurgy, the banking, and the financial sector. So they want to put also metallurgy there. And I accept this amendment.
Thank you. Can we vote? All those in favor? Thank you. Against? Abstentions? The amendment was approved unanimously. We can now, thank you, Agnes. We will now vote on the draft declaration on taking NATO deterrence and defense to the next level at the Hague Summit as amended. All those in favor? Thank you. Against? Abstentions? Thank you. The declaration is adopted unanimously. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Agnes. You made a tremendous job. I'm glad you liked it. We will invite you to take care of future declarations that you handle with them so well. Thank you. We now come to the draft declaration on peace through strength in Ukraine. I will ask Sir Alec Shelbrooke to present the declaration. Please, Alec.
Good afternoon. Dear colleagues, the NATO PA has stood with Ukraine from day one of this war. We have condemned in the strongest terms Russia's brutal, illegal and unacceptable aggression and made clear that we will never recognise any of Russia's illegal annexations of Ukrainian territory. We have mobilised diplomatic and military support for Ukraine. We have been ahead of NATO every step of the way in our statements and recommendations. And we have supported our colleagues in the Ukrainian Parliament. We are now at a crossroads. Diplomatic efforts are ongoing to bring this war to an end. Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians, but not peace at any cost. We need a peace which ensures Russia never attacks Ukraine again. We need a peace which deters Russia from ever testing the limits of Article 5. And we need a peace which makes clear to other autocrats around the world that we will stand up for a world ruled by law, not by force. This is why this declaration is called Peace Through Strength in Ukraine. We must continue to stand firmly with Ukraine, its sovereignty, territorial integrity, right to self-defense and right to self-determination, including NATO membership. We must continue to help Ukraine defend itself, its people and its cities. We must work together, North America, Europe and Ukraine, to bring about the conditions for a just and lasting peace backed up by solid security guarantees. And we must step up our presence on Russia until it demonstrates a genuine commitment to peace. Last but not least, NATO must play its full part by continuing to support Ukraine through all the tools, programmes and institutions agreed at the Washington summit and at previous summits. And by keeping our door open to Ukraine, because no third party should be allowed to have a veto over our decisions. At this crucial time, our Assembly must send a clear message. We must demonstrate that our Parliament and our people remain firm, steady and united in supporting Ukraine. This is what this declaration proposes to do, and I hope I can count on your support.
Thank you, Alec. Does anyone want to speak on the draft declaration in general? So we can go on the amendments. Do you want to present the amendments, Alec?
Yes. I've been speaking with colleagues and our Italian colleagues about paragraph 7, the First Amendment. Now, I rejected the initial amendment because I felt it was getting too far into making it a NATO operation into Ukraine rather than NATO allies supporting Ukraine. But I feel that we found a compromise, and I propose 2 changes to the text as initially put. I propose that we say, welcoming efforts by the United States in dialogue and consultation with European allies and Canada to bring about a just and lasting peace that provides for Ukraine's and Europe's long-term security, saluting as well efforts initiated by France and the United Kingdom to build a coalition of the willing to provide a reassurance force in support of peace, and convinced that transatlantic unity is essential to achieving, securing and sustainable agreement. So my 2 amendments that I suggest in place of the Italian amendment is to include the word Canada and Canada after European allies, and to change the word efforts led by France and the United Kingdom to efforts initiated by France and the United Kingdom. The reason that I've chosen that particular word is because we are an alliance, we work together, and the initiated coalition of the willing talks should be allowed to allow any other ally join in with full strength, as indeed we hope the willing of the coalition will get to. So, Mr. President, they are my 2 amendments to instead of the Italian amendment. So it'll be up to our Italian colleagues to how they feel about that.
Thank you, Alec. Mr. Cesar just signing me with a thumb up, so he agrees with you, probably. Mr. Cesar, you have the floor.
Lo ringrazio, l'amico.
Yes, I would like to thank my friend Alec. I agree.
Put the amendment as proposed by Sir Alex Shelbrook. All those in favor?
Oh. मेरा सीरम खत्म हो गया है. May I use yours?
I don't use any.
तो किसी से कहलवा के मंगवा दो ना.
Actually, Myntra also has beauty products. आप खुद ऑर्डर करवा लो.
But मैं सिर्फ Korean products use करती हूँ. That's the trend now. Ito kaya sweet John.
You speak Korean? Wow.
See.
That's actually Spanish. But Myntra also has Korean beauty products. Minimum 30% off on URS.
इतना तो मेरी बहू भी bargain करके ले लेती है.
लेकिन अगर आप K-Glow कूपन यूज कर लो ना तो 20% ऑफ और मिल जाएंगे आपको.
K for Karan.
Nanuin Balanda, K for Korean.
You speak Korean?
See.
Get minimum 30% off on your favorite Korean beauty brands during Myntra end of season sale.
3, which would say, so basically, I mean, I agree with the sentiment. However, we give recommendations to the NATO governments and parliaments, and this is an EU programme. So I suggest moving this up to the introductory part and modifying it as follows. Welcoming all EU initiatives supporting Ukraine, including the new EU Security Action for Europe instrument, which should be employed to the fullest extent in order to accelerate and scale up Ukrainian military production. That's my suggested amendment in place of the original wording.
It seems a wise suggestion. Anyone wants to dispute that? Okay, so we can vote the amendment as suggested by Sir Alex Shelbrook. All those in favor? All those against? Abstentions? It was adopted unanimously. Thank you. Alec, the last amendment.
Yes, I propose to accept the Italian amendment, the fourth amendment to V.
Great. Can we vote? All those in favor? All those against? Abstentions? The amendment was adopted unanimously. Thank you.
One more technical split. Paragraph 15F, in order to highlight the difference, I propose to split the paragraph. So to maintain and bolster transatlantic unity in the pursuit of peace through strengthening Ukraine. And then the second paragraph, welcome the summit recently hosted by Turkey in Istanbul.
Does anyone opposes to that? Okay, so we can accept that change. Okay, thank you, Alex. Thank you very much. Can we now vote the draft, the recommendation on peace through strength in Ukraine as amended? All those in favor? All those against? Abstentions? The resolution was adopted unanimously. Thank you very much. Thank you, Halek, for your work. Our next business today concerns the finance of the Assembly. I call the Treasurer of the Assembly, Fai Kostrak, to introduce the financial documents.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dear colleague, as we are approaching to the end of the plenary, I'll try to be as brief as possible on the finances. My duty is to present today for adoption by the Assembly the following documents related to 2024. The two audited financial statements for 2024 and the Treasurer's report on the 2024 surplus. The Standing Committee approved these documents during its meeting in Skopje on 5th of April. We closed the 2024 financial year with a surplus of just over 355,785 euros. Let me emphasize that 110,945 euros came from the interest on term deposits. In addition, savings were made in Chapter 1, personnel costs, where the full salary expenses of 2 staff on long-term sick leave were reimbursed by the health insurance, and where 3 newly recruited staff started later in the year than budgeted for. We also had savings in Chapter 4, missions, seminars, and external relations, which heavily depends on the location and number of activities. The Standing Committee supported and approved to allocate the 2024 surplus in 2 ways. First, 200,000 euros to the provision of Chapter 2, operational cost, and second, 155,785 euros to the provision in support of Ukraine. In 2024, 41,000 euros was used to support Ukraine. Since the creation of the special fund, it has already been used for more than 100,000 euros. And we will continue to support Ukrainian members financially so that they can participate in assembly activities and possibly host a larger event when the situation allows. Finally, let me thank the Swiss Federal Department of Defense, Civil Protection and Sport, as well as NATO for their continuous financial support. I hope that Assembly will adopt these 2024 financial documents. If you have any questions on these, we are more than happy to answer them. That is all from my side.
Thank you, Faik. Thank you, Faik. Does anyone want to speak on this moment? Thank you. So we will now vote on the 3 financial documents. We will vote them together. First, the abridged version of the audited financial statements 2024. Second, the audited financial statements Provident Fund 2024. And third, the Treasurer's report on the allocation of the 2024 surplus and update on the current financial year. All those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. All those against? Abstentions? The documents were approved unanimously. Thank you very much. And thank you, Faik. Colleagues, we are near to close our session. And on behalf of the Parliamentary Assembly, I want to thank once again to Michael Turner, head of the American delegation, for hosting. Thank you, Mike, for hosting this important and successful session. It took us to a new level of sessions from now on. I also would like to express our gratitude to the United States delegation staff, particularly to Jason Galanes, who was really fundamental on all this meeting, to the International Secretariat, to the police and security staff, to the interpreters, to the state of Ohio, to the city and the people of Dayton, and to all the others who have helped make the session run so smoothly. I would like also to leave a particular word to our Secretary General, Ruxandra Popa, which led the secretariat of this organization in the last years, in the difficult years of the pandemic, which is now going to choose a new path. She has been remarkable, phenomenal, helping us on the process of transition. Thank you very much for that, Ruxandra. You are a special person and a special Secretary General. And now it is my pleasure to invite Michael Turner, head of the U.S. delegation, to make some closing remarks. Please, Mike.
The most important closing remark I could possibly make: lunch is provided across the street. It is at Courthouse Square. It'll be 5 to us international food trucks. You can either eat it outside, which is a beautiful day, or it is also takeaway because some of you have logistics in your travels. But please make certain you take advantage of the lunch that is provided. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mike. The Assembly will next convene in October for our annual session 2025 in Ljubljana, Slovenia. I declare the spring session closed.
Dear delegates, esteemed colleagues and friends, I am delighted to invite you to the upcoming NATO Parliamentary Assembly annual session, which will take place this October in the heart of Slovenia, Ljubljana. As we make our way up to Ljubljana Castle, one of the city's most iconic landmarks, we are reminded of the strength, stability, and protection it has been symbolizing for centuries. Much like this castle, our alliance is built on solid foundation of security, unity, and shared responsibility. The NATO Parliamentary Assembly is a forum of democracy where dialogue meets understanding and where cooperation turns challenges into opportunities. By practicing integrity, working together, and staying committed, we can help create a safer and more promising future for all. Ljubljana, known for its openness and constructive dialogue, provides the ideal setting for us to reaffirm our shared values and deepen the bonds that bring us together. I look forward to welcoming you in October as we continue working toward peace, stability, and shared progress. See you in Ljubljana.
सो क्यों बिसरे जिन सब किछ दिया सो क्यों बिसरे जे काल न पाने सो क्यों बिसरे जे किया जाने सो क्यों बिसरे जे काल न पाने सो क्यों बिसरे जे किया जाने सो क्यों बिसरे जे किया जाने सो क्यों बिसरे जे किया जाने सो क्यों बिसरे जे जिन सब किछ दिया सो क्यों बिसरे जिन सब किछ दिया सो क्यों बिसरे जे अगन में राखे गुर प्रसाद को बिरला लाखे सो क्यों बिसरे जे अगन में राखे गुर प्रसाद को बिरला लाखे गुर प्रसाद को बिरला लाखे गुर प्रसाद को बिरला लाखे सो क्यों बिसरे जिन सब किछ दिया सो क्यों बिसरे जिन सब किछ दिया सो क्यों बिसरे जे बिकते कांडे जन्म जन्म का टूटा गांडे सो क्यों बिसरे जे बिकते कांडे जन्म जन्म का टूटा गांडे जन्म जन्म का टूटा गांडे जन्म जन्म का टूटा गांडे सो क्यों बिसरे जिन सब किछ दिया सो क्यों बिसरे जिन सब किछ दिया गुरपुरे तत यह बुझाया प्रभ अपना नानक जन त्याया गुरपुरे तत यह बुझाया प्रभ अपना नानक जन त्याया प्रभ अपना नानक जन त्याया प्रभ अपना नानक जन त्याया सो क्यों बिसरे जिन सब किछ दिया सो क्यों बिसरे जिन सब किछ दिया सो क्यों बिसरे जे जीवन जिया सो क्यों बिसरे जे जीवन जिया सो क्यों बिसरे जिन सब किछ दिया सो क्यों बिसरे जिन सब किछ दिया जिन सब किछ दिया जिन सब किछ दिया जिन सब किछ दिया मिल मेरे प्रीतमा जियो मिल मेरे प्रीतमा जियो तुद बिन करी निमाणी तुद बिन करी निमाणी मिल मेरे ਪ੍ਰੀਤਮਾ ਜਿਓ ਮਿਲ ਮੇਰੇ ਪ੍ਰੀਤਮਾ ਜਿਓ ਤੁਧ ਬਿਨ ਕਰੀ ਨਿਮਾਣੀ ਤੁਧ ਬਿਨ ਕਰੀ ਨਿਮਾਣੀ ਮੈਂ ਨੈਣੀ ਨੀਂਦ ਨਾ ਆਵੇ ਜੀਓ ਮੈਂ ਨੈਣੀ ਨੀਂਦ ਨਾ ਆਵੇ ਜੀਓ ਪਾਵੇ ਅੰਨ ਨ ਪਾਣੀ ਪਾਵੇ ਅੰਨ ਨ ਪਾਣੀ ਮਿਲ ਮੇਰੇ ਪ੍ਰੀਤਮਾ ਜਿਓ ਮਿਲ ਮੇਰੇ ਪ੍ਰੀਤਮਾ ਜਿਓ ਤੁਧ ਬਿਨ ਕਰੀ ਨਿਮਾਣੀ ਤੁਧ ਬਿਨ ਕਰੀ ਨਿਮਾਣੀ ਪਾਣੀ ਅੰਨ ਨ ਪਾਵੇ ਮਰੀਏ ਹਾਵੇ ਪਾਣੀ ਅੰਨ ਨ ਪਾਵੇ ਮਰੀਏ ਹਾਵੇ ਬਿਨ ਫਿਰ ਕਿਉਂ ਸੁਖ ਪਾਈਏ ਬਿਨ ਫਿਰ ਕਿਉਂ ਸੁਖ ਪਾਈਏ ਗੁਰ ਆਗੇ ਕਰੋ ਬੇਨੰਤੀ ਜੇ ਗੁਰ ਪਾਵੇ ਗੁਰ ਆਗੇ ਕਰੋ ਬੇਨੰਤੀ ਜੇ ਗੁਰ ਪਾਵੇ ਜੋ ਮਿਲੇ ਤਿਵੇਂ ਮਿਲਾਈਏ ਜੋ ਮਿਲੇ ਤਿਵੇਂ ਮਿਲਾਈਏ ਮਿਲ ਮੇ